This is a Vivo X300 and this is the Oppo X9, two self-bought retail units, which means this is the most unbiased comparison on the entire YouTube. Jumping right into design and durability, the X300 is a very compact phone. It is also a little bit lighter. That's not everything though. The camera placement is significantly different on two of these phones. It makes the X300 look top heavy, but it isn't. Both the phones are very well balanced, but the layout on the X9 is still better. It does not interfere with the finger while you are texting or just using your phone. The X300, however, can bother you a bit because the bump interferes with the natural resting position. Next is the action button on the X9. It is very helpful for me when I want to quickly record something in Mindspace. You can change it to something else, but remember you can't launch a random app using this button. You can only do one of these actions. X9 is more durable too. It comes with Corning Gorilla Glass 7i and has got more IP ratings compared to Vivo. So out of the box, it has got more protection. And hence, overall, X9 gets the point here. Now let's move on to the display. And this is where Vivo pulls ahead with the LTPO, which means it can tune down from 120Hz all the way to 1Hz, essentially saving you more battery. X9 has got a LTPS. It still can switch between different refresh rates, but it isn't as granular or low as Vivo. But the bigger question is, how useful is this? Visually, there is no difference. You are not going to notice anything. But where it does make a difference is in battery efficiency. So I carried out several tests like typing, browsing, and reading exactly the areas where the LTPO is able to do its magic. But even with a more efficient display, Vivo falls behind Oppo just because of the chunkier battery on the X9. So if you just need more SOT doing light tasks, the X9 still makes more sense here. Although there is still one very specific use case where Vivo will perform better, and that is when you turn on AOD and set it to always switched on. I mean, the Vivo just refuses to give up that 1%. But anyway, moving on, because I have done a comprehensive battery test at the very end of the video, Vivo also has got a slightly higher touch sampling rate. The difference wasn't perceivable for me. Based on my research, Vivo's TSR is 0.83 milliseconds faster than the already fast display of Oppo. So that is the margin we are talking about here. Cent of a second. If you're into shooting games like Call of Duty, then I don't know how, but this might be important for you. But it does not scratch close to OnePlus 15, which has got like 3200 Hz touch sampling. And finally, the max brightness. Outdoors, Vivo is a little bit more visible than the X9 because of having 200 nits more brightness. It has also got a higher peak local brightness of 4500 nits compared to the 3600 nits on Oppo. This means Vivo is able to display HDR content better compared to the X9. The screen size on X9 is larger though. It is around 6.59 inch compared to 6.31 inch on Vivo. So again, if that is important for you. Other than these, there are no visible differences. Both are AMOLED, 120Hz, HDR10+ rated, and more. So Vivo gets the point here, just for slightly better specs, but I could not make out any difference. Moving on to the speakers, I will choose the X9 any day over the X300. The speakers on the X9 aren't the best. There is a very noticeable lack of balance. The upper speaker has got a weird DSR effect. Speech, especially sibilance, sounds like this on the X9 upper speaker. It has also got lower volume, but the bottom one is monumentally better. There is better depth, bass is pretty good, along with mids and the highs. Vivo, however, is very treble heavy. It lacks depth, but it also is more balanced, so pick your poison. Personally, I liked the X9 speakers more. None of these have a good surround sound experience. It is just strange they are doing this to customers. Like if you pick a random budget or mid-range phone, say Xiaomi Poco M7 Pro, that too has got Dolby Atmos. But anyway, back to the phones. Overall, I will give the point to the X9 here. Now it's time to talk about the software experience. I liked the stability and the polish of ColorOS. It is perfect. It is reliable and customizable. This is probably the best Chinese ROM out there in the smartphone market. There is proper colored icon support along with dark mode icons. None of these are properly implemented on Vivo. Even in widgets, some of them have dark mode support, while some of them don't. Forget about dark mode, they do not even follow the selected color. And the UX is just weird. Like if you swipe up, you get the application menu here. On the right is the widgets tab. First of all, why keep the widgets here in the first place, provided it is really needed? And more importantly, the information here are just dummy information, so they're not even useful. Secondly, if you ever think of adding a new widget, it actually opens up the same widget tab, and Vivo remembers it. So when you swipe up again to open a new app, you end up opening the widgets tab. For the first few seconds, it still confuses me, like, where did my apps go away? But then I realize, oh, okay. And this same inconsistent, cluttered, strange experience extends to the camera app. ColorOS here too gives you a cleaner experience. Going back to customization, the wallpaper experience is pretty much the same. There are depth effect, lock screen wallpapers, cool video wallpapers, and a lot more. Both of these phones support excellent cross-platform connectivity. Whenever your desktop or Mac is connected, you take a photo or a screenshot on your phone, you will instantly get this copy notification. This can be very helpful when maybe you're working on something, filling a form, or if you just need images of your ID. Just click a picture and copy directly on your PC. Both the phones support this. There is still one catch because Oppo and OnePlus use the same O Plus Connect app, and the fact that you cannot have multiple phones connected at the same time. Well, this means that if you own any combination of these phones, you cannot have them connected to the PC at the same time. There's another thing on Vivo, just like on iPhones, the notes you take on your PC are synced to your phone and vice versa. This can also come in handy if it is important for you. But remember, none of the phones can connect automatically. You need to open the pairing app and initiate the connection every time you boot up. So it isn't as smooth as you would expect, but very close to breaking the Apple ecosystem bubble. Overall, I'm going to give this point to ColorOS. Now let's talk about performance. Both the phones have the same chip and the exact same amount of RAM. So both should perform the same, right? Well, let's find out, shall we? Starting with memory management, both the phones are excellent. Both managed to keep heavy games running in the background for extended periods of time. The gameplay experience was, however, slightly different. Both the phones support 120 FPS gameplay in some apps, and there were no lags or jitters noticeable, very smooth. But things are a bit different under consistent heavy performance. Both the phones start ambitious at around 50 to 60 FPS and then easily goes down to 30 and stays stuck mostly around there. But I did notice some spikes to around 40 to 50 in the X9, which increases when you add in an external cooler and bypass charging. Vivo, however, mostly stayed stuck around 30 to 31. I also noticed the part beside the camera module primarily gets hot on the X9, so I don't really know how much efficiency the DC had since the upper part still felt hot. And talking about thermals, Oppo is miles ahead of Vivo. In a continuous 4K 30 FPS recording for 30 minutes, the X300 heats up significantly more than the X9. Now these become the deciding factors to hand over the performance trophy to the X9. But you also need to remember that the X300 is a little bit smaller, so the compromises also come in because of the smaller form factor. Now comes the cameras. Let's start with the sensor clarity. The ultra-wide camera on the X9, just like I had said earlier, produces the sharpest images I have ever seen on a secondary camera. The details, textures, everything looks so good. Look at the leaves, how messy and smudgy it looks on the X300. Just to be sure, I started taking more pictures on the X300 at max resolution, and that is when I started noticing these weird effects in the sky. In the final output, it is not captured through the camera, it is somehow added during the processing. And this is very concerning because it just ruins the shot. Vivo should fix this as soon as possible. Clearly, it is some sort of a software issue. It only happened once in this very specific scene, but across all the shots that I took. Moving on, the X9 has got more chromatic aberration in the ultra-wide shots. Sometimes when using JPEG Max in Pro mode and setting parameters to auto, even with zero exposure bias, the pictures on the X9 looked unusually dark. And look at the details, they are almost like non-existent. This is primarily because of the way faster shutter speed and higher ISO. So using the manual mode is more recommended when using JPEG Max. Switching to the main camera, Vivo performs significantly better than the X9, and that is because of the insane 200 megapixel main camera. The file sizes are equally insane, just like you would expect. But here too, Vivo manages to ruin the image with its processing. Sometimes it does this kind of processing, and sometimes it does this. I don't know what to call them. The first one heavily over-sharpens the output. Like, it looks so bad. It randomly happens, so you're just at the mercy of your phone. If you own the X300 and know how to disable this exact processing and bring this processing instead consistently across all the 200MP shots, do let me know. Switching to 50MP on the main camera, Vivo still has got more details than the output on the X9. Like, look at the small leaf over here, it clearly has got more details. Same goes for pictures, shot under low light. The details are crazy good on Vivo, even with similar file sizes. The telephoto camera at max res 50MP also performs slightly better on Vivo. Again, notice the zoomed in comparison. Now, shooting at max res is not always possible because of the file size, right? So what if you take photos in the good old normal photos mode? In the ultra-wide camera, the X9 obviously still performs better, but you also need to remember the size of the images generated on X9 are often larger and have got around twice the resolution than those captured on Vivo. But when it does capture at the same resolution, I could not find much of a difference. Some places the X9 performs better, like look at this detail, it looks better on the X9, and in other places like the leaves here look a tad bit better on the X300. The processing looks good too. Dynamic range is great on both the phones, but the colors are better on Vivo, especially using the Zeiss mode. It gives you realistic colors. You can also switch to vivid mode if you want a more saturated look. During the night, I also found the auto white balance to be better on the X300, but honestly, the yellow color of the lights looked better, and I prefer how the Oppo's images look in these scenes. But clinically testing them, Vivo is definitely better. The details also looked very similar, but again, if you zoom in, there are more details in the Vivo because of the slower shutter speed and lower ISO. Vivo performed better in some of the other shots too, but the EXIF data did not make any sense. Like in all the shots, the X9 has got a faster shutter speed and significantly lower ISO, even though everything else remained the same. There is only one picture where the X9 performed much better, and that is this one. Look at the grills and the text, they are more visible on the Oppo. Moving on to the main cameras, the X300, as expected, again pulls ahead in details even when an object is situated far away from the camera. As you can see, the brick texture is more noticeable on the X300. Even if you notice in this scene, the patterns, as you can see, are way more defined on Vivo than the X9. Vivo is just 5.9 MBs in size and Oppo is 17.3 MBs. The efficiency on Vivo is crazy good in the main camera. Same goes for the telephoto camera, excellent details even with lower resolution and smaller file sizes. But there is one thing that you must remember across all these images. Even though textures are very well maintained in the Vivo, the lower resolution also means that individual pixels are going to get more visible on Vivo at the same zoom level compared to the X9. Also, Oppo does not capture all the images at this high resolution. All of the night shots, if you notice, have lower resolution and size in comparison to the day shots. Telescopic zoom is also stronger on Vivo, even though it supports up to 100x compared to 120x on the X9. These are all AI enhancements, obviously, but the best part is you can disable it completely on Vivo to get, well, unprocessed images. So you have that option. Oppo, however, looks very strange, like way stranger than Vivo. It also lacks proper stability, which is very important during telescopic zooms. X300 definitely is more stable, but it also really starts to lag a lot. Like, look at this video. It gets very difficult to take a proper picture. It only happened twice, so this is not a regular thing. I'm guessing an OTA update should fix it. Max zoom videos also look good on Vivo, even though it maxes out at 15x. Oppo still has the same issue whereby it disables all the processing at max 18x zoom, so it is pretty annoying to find the optimum 17.9x and shoot in order to get better results. And talking about zoom, if you're interested in slow motion, the Oppo will still outperform Vivo. Both have got 4K slow motion in the main camera with all the fancy stuff like HDR and log, but the Oppo also supports FHD 240fps slow motion on their telephoto camera, which means zoomed in slow motions still look better on the X9 compared to the cropped footage shot at 4K on the X300. Now, portrait mode. Vivo has got a pretty bad edge detection, especially in the main camera. It improves in the telephoto, but Oppo still outperforms Vivo overall. The only advantage on the Vivo are the different bokeh modes. I like them, but using them worsens the edge detection further. Like, it is unexpectedly bad for a flagship main camera. The bokeh modes are so good, like Vivo is so close to getting everything perfect. Please just fix the edge detection problems. I'm still glad that the telephoto camera performs way better. Time to talk about videos. Both the phones are great. I will still say Oppo has got better dynamic range. The output looks very balanced, but it also is a little bit more saturated than Vivo. Also notice the chromatic aberration near the edges more visible on the X9. The main camera also looks very similar. Vivo performs a tiny bit better. It is marginally better in details, but significantly better chromatic aberration control compared to the Oppo. And here is the comparison of the telephoto lens output. Switching to the front cameras, you won't notice much of a difference in the daylight, but during the night, Vivo again takes way better images. There are visibly more details in all the selfies. It can also shoot in max resolution of up to 50 megapixels. And it has got autofocus. The X300 also has got better macro capabilities. I will be making a full camera comparison video later, so I must stop here else this video will just get too long. There are a lot of other things like 60 fps portrait video. Vivo allows you to change the focus of the portrait video after shot, which is not possible on the X9, and a lot more. Overall, Vivo has got better cameras, so this point goes to them. Moving on to the AI features in images. You should not expect any of the AI generated parts to match the rest of the photo quality in any of these phones. It is just not possible as of now. Since I've set your expectations, let's continue. Vivo does a good job in the AI eraser part, even though the selection is a bit unreliable. The generated image as a filling is of higher quality, so there are less chances of noticing the stitch. Oppo also does a good job, but it is of lower quality, and sometimes the color does not match at all. Like, look how vibrant green this glass looks compared to the surrounding. The The AI image upscaling, however, is more reliable on the X9. It does not alter the saturation, contrast, or the exposure of the output like the Vivo, or even make the image look weird. Other than these two, there are things that I like on the Vivo and there are things that I like on the Oppo. For example, the AI Recompose, it does a great job in properly cropping the image, removing the extra headspace, and also suggesting filters. The AI Perfect Shot ensures all the faces in group images look good. AI Portrait Glow, although the name is weird, is a crazy relight effect that can bring better lighting and improve details on your face, especially for images shot under harsh lighting. The slider also helps sell the idea that the image looks realistic instead of this full-on flat lighting. Finally, you also get unblur and remove reflections, both of which can come in handy. Vivo again here has got a few unhelpful AI features like AI color management, which is some sort of saturation exposure combination. The image expansion can be very helpful though. It is not there on the Oppo, but they should have added it. I think the folks at Oppo know that their image generation capabilities need a little bit of improvement. Squarely the reason why they haven't added that. Overall, the AI image processing experience is better on Oppo. They're significantly more helpful. Now it's time to talk about connectivity. Both the phones have got Bluetooth 6.0, they support all the advanced codecs, both the phones have reliable 5G connection, but the X9 is slightly better in terms of Wi-Fi because you get Wi-Fi 7 compared to Wi-Fi 6 on the X300. So the X9 is a bit more future-proof. But wired connectivity is again better on the X300. There is the USB 3.2 Gen 1, so it is not only faster than the Oppo, but also it supports external monitors with audio redirection. So yes, Vivo takes the win for this. Now last but not the least is the battery, and the difference here is pretty noticeable. I've cleared up the LTPO confusion before already, so here are some other use cases and their relative SOT. Obviously, as expected, X9 takes the win in all of them. It is crazy that we are approaching the battery capacity of a standard power bank on smartphones. Overall, X9 is the final winner. But here is a small conclusion, since some of you asked for one in the last video. Now, even though the X9 overall is a better phone, I'm going to pick up the X300, which shows that this is not a black and white answer. You need to think through everything. Can you live with a poorer software experience because you love the cameras more on the Vivo? Are the edge detection issues a deal breaker for you? Can you compromise on the speakers, performance, and the battery life a little bit? And more importantly, if the lighter, more compact form factor is significantly more important for you. It is for me, so it works for me. And that is all for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.